Welcome back to the Barrett channel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Lee and I run this channel with my son Ollie. We're based here in Shenzhen in China, and we have content that is sort of food and travel. We do technology, so we do factories, we look at infrastructure, and we also do opinion pieces, and this video is an opinion piece. So a few weeks ago I did a video about the USA launching a diplomatic boycott for the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, and it's turned out kind of a bit funny really, because even though they announced a diplomatic boycott, after that they went ahead and applied for 40 visas for their diplomats to attend the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympics, and a lot of those visa applications were actually from the State Department. And I think they launched the diplomatic boycott in the hope that they were going to get a lot of other countries follow them, but only a very small handful of countries actually followed them. The usual suspects: the UK, Australia, Canada, you know, the Five Eyes nations. So as far as the USA were concerned, it was a bit of a failure really. And I think personally, I think it was a very spiteful move, you know, trying to derail the Beijing 2022 Olympics when all those athletes have worked so hard for so long, and it's their dream to come to the Olympic Games. And I'd just like to now run a few clips, some things I've got off Twitter and Douyin to show just how excited those athletes are who have come and started living in the Olympic Village here in China.
Okay, it's a pillow and our blanket. Good night.
I have something incredible to share. Because not only do we not have cardboard beds here, but it's as if the Beijing organizing committee said, how can we just absolutely just one up Tokyo? And this is what they went with. I don't know. I'm in zero G mode now. It's phenomenal.
So as you can see from all those clips, you can see just how excited and, you know, happy the athletes are, and so they should be. You know, they've come to the Olympics. They're going to compete in events to hopefully win medals and fulfill their dreams, and that's just great. So another thing to remember is that China are hosting this event in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And there's been a lot of criticism of China's zero COVID strategy, which in my mind is just ridiculous. It seems to be that, initially China was praised for having a zero COVID approach, and now it seems much of the West are trying to demonize China over this. But as you can see from a tweet one of the USA athletes has made, it makes them feel safe. And on the people coming into the village, they're hosting the Olympics in a closed bubble, and this is one of the reasons why I myself am not able to go. and they're not selling tickets to the general public. And they've already, there's already been more than 100 athletes that have come in and been tested. They're actually tested positive and are undergoing treatment and continuous testing. So hopefully they will be clear by the time they come to compete. And this is really testament to the Chinese authorities that they're still able to host such a large international event in the middle of a pandemic. So what I'm going to show you now, who does the best at the Winter Olympics? Well, over the course of history, Norway are way out in front, and also the USA, Canada and Germany, which surprised me. I didn't realise Germany were good in the Winter Olympics. So this year in the Beijing 2022 Olympics, there will be 15 events and there will be over 2,800 athletes competing in total. Now, the UK, the country I'm from, we're pretty strong in an event called Skeleton. It's like a one-man sort of sled kind of event. And we often win a medal in this, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that Britain are going to win a medal in that again this year. Britain are actually sending a team of about 50 athletes in total, although they are one of the countries that have exercised their diplomatic boycott. So it's kind of a shame that the British team won't have any diplomats there to cheer them on, and I do feel quite sad about that. But I can assure you there'll be plenty of British here in China who will be egging the British team on, and hope they do well. My favourite event is the curling, and I also like watching the bobsleigh. I think these are great events. But also, I also like the freestyle skiing and the freestyle snowboarding. And we actually went to visit the big air ramp when we went up to Beijing a number of months ago, and that was pretty awesome to see. So I also think it's very important to give a mention to the army of volunteers that will be taking part in the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, and all those volunteers that will be in and around the Olympic Village to help the athletes and guide the athletes. And many of those have given up their Chinese New Year to go into their quarantine so they can be there while the athletes are arriving. And two of those volunteers are young ladies from Taiwan, and they've both said they're very happy and excited to be taking part. And even though Taiwan have gone along with the USA with a diplomatic boycott of the Olympic Games, I still wish the Taiwanese athletes every success, and I'm sure all the Taiwanese people will be both behind them and behind all the athletes from whatever country they're from. And I personally like to wish all the athletes from anywhere in the world the biggest success. Many will be realising their dreams, not just by coming to the Olympic Games, but by winning medals. And, you know, I think the athletes themselves don't care at all about politics. It's the USA and some US organisations that have tried to spoil this by making it political. And I personally think that any sport shouldn't be political, and you can see that from the way the sports and the athletes behave to each other. They will congratulate each other, you know, from whatever country they're from or from whatever part of the world they're from. And you know, that's how it should be. It's in the Olympic Charter, and that's how it should be. And one other thing I'd like to mention just before I wrap up this video is the opening ceremony. I watched the opening ceremony in 2008 and it was absolutely amazing. And this Beijing 2022 Olympics has the same director for the opening ceremony. So I'm actually really excited to watch that opening ceremony, and me, like tens of millions of other people around the world, will be definitely tuning in on the 4th of February to make sure I don't miss that opening ceremony. And I'm planning to do a reaction video on that, so keep tuned. Anyway, I'd like to wish Beijing a successful Olympics. I'd like to wish all the athletes that are competing from wherever in the world they come from a successful Olympics. As I said earlier, many of those will be realising their dreams just by competing, and some will be exceeding their dreams by winning a medal at the Olympics. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you do like the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. But as always, for now, take care.